Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, text number 43. Ya Kshatriya Bandhur Bhuvi Tasyadi Anvarurakshet api varsha puge Shat pancha varsho yadaho biralpe Prasadhya vaikuntam avapatatpadam. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Dhruva Maharaj attained an exalted position at the age of only 5 or 6 years, after undergoing austerity for 6 months. Alas, a great Kshatriya cannot achieve such a position even after undergoing the austerities for many, many years. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj is described herein as Kshatriya Bandhuhu, which indicates that he was not fully trained as a Kshatriya because he was only 5 years old. He was not a mature Kshatriya. A Kshatriya or a Brahmana has to take training. A boy born in the family of a Brahmana, he is not immediately a Brahmana. He has to take up the training and the purificatory process. The great sage Narada Muni was very proud of having a devotee disciple like Dhruva Maharaj. He had many other disciples, but he was very pleased with Dhruva Maharaj because in one lifetime, by dint of his severe penances and austerities, he had achieved Vaikuntha, which was never achieved by any other king's sons or Rajarishi throughout the whole universe. There is an instance of the great King Bharata, who was also a great devotee, but he attained Vaikuntha Loka in 3 lives. In the first life, although he executed austerities in the forest, he became a victim of too much affection for a small deer. In the next life, he had to take birth as a deer. Although he had a deer's body, he remembered his spiritual position. But he still had to wait until next life for perfection. In the next life, he took birth as Jada Bharata. Of course, in that life, he was completely freed from all material entanglement, and he attained perfection and was elevated to Vaikuntha Loka. The lesson from the life of Dhruva Maharaj is that if one likes, one can attain Vaikuntha Loka in one life without waiting for many other lives. My Guru Maharaj Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada used to say that every one of his disciples could attain Vaikuntha Loka in this life without waiting for another life to execute devotional service. One simply has to become as serious and sincere as Dhruva Maharaj. Then it is quite possible to attain Vaikuntha Loka and go back home, back to Godhead in one lifetime. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So again here, the sincerity and the extreme austerities, because of that sincerity that Dhruva Maharaj performed as a 5-year-old, he is being appreciated as a point to indicate that how fast we make advancement in spiritual life, to a large extent, depends on our determination. We have to be inspired by the determination of Dhruva Maharaj. This is the advantage, or this is the benefit, or this kind of determination follows by hearing the Bhagavad Katha, by hearing the Leela of Dhruva Maharaj and his progress in his childhood. His austerity will inspire similar determination in us. So that is why hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Krishna Katha is very important. Because the characters in Srimad Bhagavatam, the personalities in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are all role models of attaining, role models of excellent devotees. And how these devotees, what qualities in them made them endearing to the Lord and could have darshan of the Lord even in this body. And of course, going back to God and after that to the spiritual world. So, the idea of fatalistic, everything is fate, is not accepted in Srimad Bhagavatam or in Bhagavad Gita. Many people misunderstand. Many Sanatana Dharmis misunderstand that everything is destined, everything is a fate. That does not mean that there is no fate. There is no destiny. Every action has a reaction. So we all do have a destiny or a fate based on sum total of all the actions that we have done in millions of lives. This is a fact. The fate is something like a circle around our freedom. What we can do now and what we cannot do now. That is the role of destiny. What we can enjoy now, what we cannot enjoy now. What we can do now, what we cannot do now. Even if we are able to do now something, we may not achieve that. So our doing, thinking, feeling, willing, all of them have circles around them, circles of limitation. And that is how their life goes on as a combination of being responsible for our own past and being responsible even in the present by exercising our free will, the way as per the dharma, as per the laws of religion, laws enunciated by God. So, even for material life also, people have freedom. And that is why different people have different material situation in their lives. Of course, their free will in the material world the secondary free will, by their primary free will of not wanting to be with Krishna, they have chosen the material energy to control them. And then within that material energy, the free will that they have is called secondary free will. So, the living entity's most important characteristic is his free will. What is free will? Free will is one's degree of freedom. How much free you are. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is absolutely free. Surat, absolutely free. Free means anything he decides, he can do. Anything he desires, he can get, etc. He is absolutely free in all aspects. We being his part and parcel, we also have a minute degree of Surat. Free will is there. That means, of course, our free will is have a very limited scope where all you can apply. Material energy controls or gives us choices. Or if we are in devotional service, devotional internal energy of the Lord gives us choices. So you cannot exercise free will without choices. So choices are very much part of every living entity. So free will, sometimes even in animals there are free will. But only that free will does not create new karmas for animals. The human beings, free will creates karma. Sometimes you see, you take a stone to throw at a dog. The dog is confused to run right or left. You see his free will. He uses his free will and chooses to run in one direction. The free will is there, but free will is not that. Free will is part of life. Life means freedom, free will. But in animals, that freedom is not binding. It doesn't create new karma. Whereas in the human being, whatever free will we have, how we choose to exercise, we are creating a new karma. Or, if we exercise the free will to serve the Lord, we do akarma, or we don't do karma, we don't get any reaction. We use our free will to engage in yajna, that means activities that are pleasing to the Supreme Lord, then those actions also does not bind us into a future, material future. So this whole process of getting out of this material world is based on somehow or the other, our karma should become zero. As long as we have this karmic reaction in us, or as long as we create new karma, there is no question of being liberated from this material world or the laws of nature. That is the reason why the most important thing that we practice in our life is devotional service. So devotional service means activities for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. When we practice activities, that means we cannot be keeping quiet. We are born with some karma, with some karmic forces. And when we are born in this body with some karmic forces, the soul has got limited free will. It has got same free will, but that free will is limited by the karma of the body. So, the process by which we become free from not creating new karmas and ending old karmic reaction. What is our process? We dovetail, just like if I were a karmi, I would live out my karma. Each of us characteristic is different. Ability is different, desires are different, everything is different. So if I were not a devotee, I will live out my karma, burn out my karma, and also create new karma. When I am a devotee, when I decided to go back to God, and when I decide to get the shelter of the pure devotee of the Lord, I surrender my life unto Him. I surrender my life means what? My karma. Everything, plus and minus everything, I surrender unto Him in order to be placed at the lotus feet of the Lord. So by engaging in service of the spiritual master, we burn out all our accumulated karma. And how much to engage, how much of this to engage in our karma, engage in devotion service. How much of it need not manifest at all. There are so many bijas of karma bija in our heart. It is not that millions of lives of karma bija in my life. I have to express it and burn it and then go back to Godhead. No. What has started fructifying is I have taken a particular body. When I take a particular body, that called prarabdha karma. There is a whole stock of my karma, that is sanchita karma. That is 1,000,000 times voluminous than my prarabdha karma. My prarabdha karma is very less. This life, what I have to go through. All the sukha and dukkha that I can get out of this body, mind, intelligence. I burn it away. So, just see what the spiritual master's capacity is and what, because it is sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharvam bija am tam sarva papebhyo moksheshyam suchaha. Because of his association with Krishna, the spiritual master can burn all the karma bijas of your past. At the time of, he'll burn it, it'll not go away. By the mercy of the spiritual master, so many things will be there till we die. At the time of death, if we have engaged all our prarabdha karma, sincerely, exclusively for the pleasure of the Lord and not for our karmic life, means false ego life. Even after becoming devotee, we can have a karmi life within our mind, contamination of a karmi life. Living for false ego is a karmi life. That is devotion service mixed with fruitive activities, devotion service mixed with dhyana. These are also stages of a devotee has to cross through to come to the platform of pure devotional service. So he burns all his karma prarabdha karma, by following the instruction of spiritual master and engaging in his service, without desire for any material profit for himself. This is very important. The moment you think of any material profit, then you will have to take birth again. One should be scared of material profit in this material world. One should be scared of sense gratifications in this material world, because it is very easily given to a devotee. And it simply prolongs one's life in this material world. So how effectively we surrender our life? It's not simply instruction of spiritual master means chant 16 rounds and 4 regulated principles. We have to engage in his seva. Everything that we do in Krishna consciousness movement, the preaching movement, is personal seva to Srila Prabhupada. We should understand that. We are all personally serving Prabhupada, because this is his mission for the Lord. We discussed the other day that how Srila Prabhupada's compassion has created this mission. We do not have realization of our own self. So how we can have realization of other living entities suffering in this material world? Real suffering is not material suffering. Real suffering is forgetfulness of Krishna. To realize that even now when we speak, real suffering is forgetfulness of Krishna. Not much realization is there. But you say real suffering is birth, death, old age, disease. Yes, you feel it. But if you say the real suffering is forgetfulness of Krishna, one does not feel. But a pure devotee, he feels that you are suffering because of your forgetfulness of Krishna, because he sees that you are part and parcel of Krishna. So we are not able to achieve that pure vision, which happens only after complete self-purification. Then only once that's samasarveshu bhuteshu, that perception comes how all living entities are dear to the Supreme Lord. And by forgetting Krishna, they are suffering, covered by different kinds of ahankara. So, one should always feel that serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada is not serving some organization like that. That is why Prabhupada said, this is my body. Why he said? It is not figurative. It is Prabhupada's mission, the spirit of what all he has. It's not ISKCON means these buildings are his body. No. The potential of these buildings. These buildings were created for a particular purpose. That purpose is called the mission of spiritual master. So as a founder Acharya, this is Prabhupada's mission. One should not think that, no, I am not able to personally serve my spiritual master. No, we are serving, by serving his Vani, we are serving personally the spiritual master. And Vapu Seva, when Prabhupada was there, being a person who has come from the spiritual world, when he was in his body in this material world, walking amidst us, no doubt it's a very unique period of time for this earth, where so many souls could directly serve him through this body. But he himself taught that it is not physical proximity, it is not real association. Even with physical proximity, if you don't have devotion for Srila Prabhupada, you can fight with Prabhupada. In one lecture, Prabhupada is saying that association means Vani. And he gave the example of some mosquito is sitting on my hand, I am giving Bhagavatam class. The mosquito is getting my association. You are all hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, you are getting association. Mosquito is very close, sitting on me, physically. So one should have the right paradigm of life. That whole day, what am I doing? I am serving Srila Prabhupada's personal mission. I am serving Srila Prabhupada's personal agenda in this world. Don't impersonalize it and generally say we are preaching Krishna consciousness. What is the specific way in which we are preaching Krishna consciousness? By assisting Srila Prabhupada's mission. And then we become empowered. And then Prabhupada will engage. That's the only way. Working for Prabhupada is the only way to become karma free, zero. To close my karma account, we have to work for the spiritual master. And we are also lucky. That is happening in a very organized way. And that is our ISKCON movement, Hare Krishna movement. The expression of that personal seva for Srila Prabhupada, when it is in an organized manner, that is this organization. So behind the organization, one should see what he is doing in the organization in a very personal sense. That's my contribution to Srila Prabhupada's mission. And when we do that, then we very easily, blessed with good understanding of Bhaktivedanta purports, because they are his Vani. Pariprashnena sevaya. By serving Srila Prabhupada, one gets the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So apart from all these external processes and strict sadhana in the external sense, all those things, there is a spirit behind all these things. It's very important. Somebody can do a very external sadhana, very strict sadhana, with the motivation of being number one in the community with respect to strictness of sadhana. It can also possible. So, always we have to have, there is a spirit behind everything. Whether you are 100% attendance, 90% attendance, is an expression of that spirit. So now if you see here, Dhruva Maharaj, at the same time, how much effort you put. Ye thamam prapadyante tam site bhajamiham. Krishna also reciprocates. How fast you want to become detached? How fast you want to improve your chanting? How fast you want to realize that the holy name is Krishna himself? How fast you want to feel that you are spending, when you do japa, you are spending personally time with Krishna? How fast you want to feel the unlimited consciousness of the holy name? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It all we have to tell ourselves. That is the purport of this purport. We have to tell ourselves. It all depends. Lord depends on me. When you say that, you will become responsible. If I do, I get. If I don't do, I don't get. If I follow what Prabhupada said, then I get. Don't follow, I don't get. Example of how Dhruva Maharaj's determination was greater than King Bharata is given in this purport. Bharata took 3 lives. First as Bharata, then as a deer, then as Jada Bharata, to attain total detachment from matter, material energy. Whereas Dhruva Maharaj attained it in 1 life. So, hear this line of Prabhupada. The lesson from the life of Dhruva Maharaj is that if one likes, one can attain Vaikuntha Loka in 1 life without waiting for many other lives. How important is our free will? If one likes, we are not following some mechanical procedure. Bhakti is not some mechanical procedure. Continuous application of free will is there to serve the Lord as against Maya. Which in the sadhaka begins with, based on the instruction of the spiritual master. And after self-purification, it begins, every act of his is an expression of love for the Supreme Lord. And not for love for anything in this material world. My Guru Maharaj Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada used to say that every one of his disciples could attain Vaikuntha Loka in this life. Prabhupada said he will take us all back to Godhead. There's an assumption there. You should be a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Disciple means following the discipline given by Prabhupada. Otherwise, your journey, reaching the destination will delay. No doubt Prabhupada can give kripa to somebody, that's called kripa siddha. It is his free will, he can give. But he doesn't misuse that, his power to give kripa, take shortcut and take them. No. Yes, you don't do any sadhana, you don't do any of the prescribed things, then simply you get kripa from Prabhupada. No. Kripa siddha also is, God helps those who help themselves. By your own strength, you may not climb out of the well, even though the staircase is given, the staircase of sadhana. Continuously, as we climb the staircase out of this material world, always kripa is there of the spiritual master. Your sadhana does not give result unless spiritual master's kripa is there. Very soon you will see it becomes mechanical. Very soon you will see, I have no taste for chanting. How long without taste you will chant? You will give it up. So kripa of spiritual master is there. If so many years we have chanted Hare Krishna, we have got kripa of Srila Prabhupada. That is why from the holy name we are getting kripa. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, you said that a devotee who is a part of the organization can also have a mentality of a karmi.
Mentality?
Of a karmi.
Mixed.
Mixed.
Can I have a mixed mentality?
So, will a devotee who's not understanding all this paradigm, like for example, an employee is also working for the personal mission of Prabhupada, he is not knowing that. So, what is his situation? Will he also make progress, or somebody who is not just doing service?
He will get Ajnata Sukriti. Anybody who is serving Srila Prabhupada's mission, all the employees, they get Ajnata Sukriti. That means, because they are not serving for serving him, but their effort is going as a service to Srila Prabhupada, even though they are taking money. So, the Ajnata Sukriti, volume of Ajnata Sukriti depends on, suppose he is exploiting the organization more than giving seva. Say, suppose he is working outside. He is working outside, he will put X amount of work. Here, he works here, he gives half X work. No Ajnata Sukriti he will get. If he is a fairly X he gives, he will get Ajnata Sukriti. If he gives 2X work, he will get more Ajnata Sukriti. And little bhakti also begins. So, the voluntariness is very important. Voluntariness, when it comes, bhakti element starts coming. As long as that is not there, it is not eternal. It's not an eternal asset for somebody. Prabhupada says this Ajnata Sukriti is something that is, it is by these kind of Ajnata Sukriti, when you serve a messenger of God, that is the actual meaning of Ajnata Sukriti. When you serve him, directly or indirectly, knowingly and unknowingly, you build your good fortune. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Kono Bhagyavan. That Bhagyavan is the one who has accumulated Ajnata Sukriti in so many lives. Without serving a devotee, we cannot start becoming a devotee. We have all got a lot of Ajnata Sukriti before joining the Krishna consciousness movement. Could be from previous lives. Maybe some high values, Ajnata Sukriti, by direct touch of Prabhupada, like so many people all over the world, they met Prabhupada and became devotees. Right there, first few days they acquired Ajnata Sukriti. So they could get next bhakti. They started appreciating Prabhupada, loving Prabhupada, whatever service giving, respecting Prabhupada. Suppose Prabhupada's car is going, some traffic is in the front, and without knowing that person gives side to Prabhupada, gives preference to Prabhupada's car. He'll get Ajnata Sukriti. He doesn't know who is in the car, what it is, he doesn't know. Such is the power of serving Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. From the same lines which Lakshmanath Prabhu asked, It's almost like the same question, but a little more specific. In terms of FTMs, devotees living in the ashram, so what is the difference between doing assigned service and doing desirable service? Like, sometime we may desire to do an arti for the Lord.
Do an
arti for the Lord.
arti.
So that is desirable service. May not be assigned service. So in terms of the effect it has on the consciousness, so what is the difference between these two?
No, as long as you align with you are not doing devotion service alone. If you are at home, you are doing alone. Here you are doing with all of us. And here everybody is sharing everybody else's service. And my service is facilitated by everybody else's service. What will the temple president do if you'll have nothing to do if there are no devotees in the temple? Because they are all doing service, he has service. Similarly, you have service because the cook cooks. He is doing his service. Just see how important it is. If he doesn't cook. So our devotion service is completely dependent upon so many other devotees. We don't think of it when we go and sit in the prasadam hall. That certain devotees, devotional service because of which now I am able to get prasadam. Or what will be our consciousness if deity worship is not maintained by so many pujaris? Or what will pujaris and cooks do if the devotees don't bring collection? Is it not? Or if collection is there, cooks are there and pujaris are there. If somebody is not there to organize and manage, it will work, it will not work. There will be chaos. So every devotee's service is interconnected to other devotees' service. So therefore we should make assigned service as my desired service. When you have understanding, then you know, my desired service is to do assigned service. So arbitrary desiring, there is no such thing. Devotion service has to be done as per what pleases Guru and Krishna. If somebody is at his home, he can decide what he wants to do. Suddenly he feels doing kirtan, he can go and do kirtan in front of his deities. Doesn't become a disturbance for anybody else. But if Pujari is given service today, and Pujari says, today no, somebody else can do Arati, I want to do Kirtan. Not possible. It's a very highly organized activity. And the benefit of that highly organized activity is immense. 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 That's why 10,000 people are able to come here and have a peaceful darshan and go and take prasadam and everything. The benefit is immense. 100 devotees in the organization are handling the whole thing. 10,000 people are able to Janmashtami. How many people are, maybe about, with volunteers, about 300, 400 people are organizing, but 1 lakh people are coming and getting the experience. So you have to see, give a holistic vision. And if you have desire for something else, you have to work through the organization. That is important. There's scope also. But don't be independent and jerky. You can say, I desire to change this service from this to this. You please keep in mind, Prabhu, whenever possible, I desire this. Do it. It can be worked out. Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the class. So, as devotees, we're often told and directed to give up competitive attitudes and passionate attitude and aspirations. You also stated an example that, maybe a devotee with the internal motivation to be the best would get a 99% in his sadhana. And he would improve his sadhana. You mentioned an example but the example was that his motivation was to be the best in sadhana out of all the devotees.
Wow.
Similarly, Dhruva Maharaj, his original determination that got him to see the Lord was of a passionate, competitive nature. So my question is when can we know if a similar passionate or competitive attitude would be positive for our consciousness and our spiritual aspirations or negative?
No, now Dhruva Maharaj did not know the philosophy. You know the philosophy. There is a difference. Since you know the philosophy, Prabhupada has told you, unconsciously comparison comes and all, it's all right. I will take care of it. But knowing that comparative motivation should not be the motivation. You should try not to have this kind of mixed motivation. Social motivation to do service. No doubt, we all have social motivation because we are a social being. But we should know that consciously it should not be. So, if you want to follow what Prabhupada said, then it has to be, we should, inevitably, our devotion service, it is, the science of bhakti is that devotion service starts as mixed devotion service. Mixed devotion service means this kind of karma and jnana mixture is there. It is not that overnight anybody would, because you have this tendency. Jnana karma tendencies are part of our karma. Independent action is called karma, independent knowledge is called jnana. We have come into this world for independent thing. And we have taken this body, prarabdha karma means to independently earn sukha dukkha. So, devotion service, nectar of devotion explains, devotion service starts as mixed devotion service. Then, with a desire to do unmixed, pure devotion service, when you do, this mixture will become less and less. Unknowingly, you are doing mixed devotion service. You are not even aware of the philosophy of KC. For them it is okay. That Prabhupada and Krishna will purify it. But if you know about it, you should not, and we should accelerate. We know about the knowledge is meant for accelerating our growth. We'll advance very fast if we are conscious that, right, this is nursery, karma mixed devotion service. This is high school, jnana mixed devotion service. Real service is pure devotion service. It should not be based on any material conditions. Ahetuki apratihata, this is my goal. Okay? Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.